Hello, this video is to explain the installation of the NSX steering rack knockbush. The NSX rack, over a period of time, bearing in mind these are now coming around about 22 years old for the early NSXs, they tend to have a knock when going over uneven surfaces on the passenger side of the vehicle. That's either the right hand or left hand drive NSXs. This is actually an NSX from an Australian car, so it's a right hand drive. However, other than being reversed, everything about the rack is identical. To identify if you do have a worn housing, it's best to get underneath the vehicle with either weight or no weight on this side of the car, on your passenger side. Go full lock, so full left or right hand turn to extend this shaft to the fullest extent. Grab the shaft with the boot over it. If there's any knocking or lateral movement in this shaft here, then the housing itself is worn. What I've developed is a bush which is pressed into the end of the housing. In here you'll see that there's already a bush fitted. Prior to that little brass bush there, there's no actual support mechanism other than the housing itself, other than the housing to support the shaft. And unfortunately, after a period of time, the aluminium shaft, or housing, sorry, wears away. I'll quickly show you how to undo and fit the bush. This has already been pre-loosened, so easy explanation for the video. Take the boot off. We need to get this knuckle off. This knuckle uses a 17mm spanner which fits over this point here. There is a locking washer here that you need to hit back first with a small cold chisel or a fairly hefty screwdriver with a hammer, and just flatten that surface so that it releases the knuckle. Once you have the knuckle off, it screws off fairly simply. This can all be done with the rack still in the vehicle. Just need to take the wheel off, jack it up securely, take the wheel off. You need to take this tie rod end off so you can twist it off on the end. That may cause a bit of issue trying to get that off. That tape is sometimes pretty stubborn to get off. But once you get all that stuff off, you take that part off there. Bearing in mind, if you can see the little lugs there on that washer that goes through, they need to fit back into there when you reassemble. Once you've got this apart, the best way to do, you'll find that there's a fair bit of oil lubricant in here. It's best to use something like Brake Clean or Carby Clean, something that is a spirit-based solvent, so it not only dissolves the fluid, the oil, the lubricant there, but also dissipates as well, so it's a nice clean surface. Once you've done that, we just fit the NSX steering rack knock bush. That bush just there just sits into there like that fairly simply. You can use some Loctite. Either the 601 is a fairly good, that's the green Loctite. But bearing in mind again, make sure all the surfaces are spotless clean. You can get a rag into there after you've sprayed it with your solvent-based spray to get rid of any of the residual oil or solvent spray left. Bit of 601 on there, it's a green. You just slide that in there. Now this is the simple part. You actually reassemble the whole lot, as I'm doing here. And seeing how that little washer, the little lugs there, are now located in the reliefs. All you do now is turn the steering rack all the way back in. You can either do that yourself, go back to the steering wheel and turn it yourself, or have someone to assist you and you can watch how it presses in. This large washer here will actually press the bush all the way in. So you just need to keep turning until you can't turn any further. I can't do that with this particular video now because there's already a bush installed into this rack. Reassembly is quite simple. Again, making sure that lug is located in the relief there. Tighten up that. Make sure you reapply the right angle over the flat surface on that knuckle. Put your boot back in, put your tie rod back on, and that is it. It's a fairly simple process. You don't lose any steering lock at all, because the NSX, the bush there is actually flush with the aluminium housing anyway. So where that point there would normally hit full lock, it doesn't change. It may be a mil or two. There's not a lot in it. Other than that, once this bush is in, I've had mine in my vehicle for about 40,000 kilometres now, and it's working perfectly. I've got rid of all the knock over those uneven bumps you normally get on the passenger side of the road. It seems to work quite well. So please let me know if anyone needs some further information or costings and freight for these bushes. I'm having a new batch manufactured shortly. So rather than replacing the whole rack, we're able to just retrofit a new bush to eliminate the knock while the rack is still in place, or in situ. As mentioned, please let me know if you need any further information. Thanks.